Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope everybody out there is doing really well. Today, I've got a requested video. Actually, a few of you out there requested this one. It's 10 fall fragrances or colognes that drive women crazy. Yeah, one of those videos. So these are fragrances that are really good at pulling attention, pulling compliments, that sort of fragrance. Really good for an evening out, really good for a date night. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. And guys or gals, let me know in the fragrances below a fragrance that just works gangbusters for you in the fall in terms of just pulling attention. Positive attention, not negative attention. Like I said, this is a requested video. If you do have a request, whether it's a list or a house that you want me to look at or whatever, shoot me an email. I've got a lot of them and I'll work through them as I can. Let's jump right into this one with kind of a 2-for-1. Carolina Herrera CH Privé and Roberto Cavalli Uomo La Notte. And the reason this is a 2-for-1 is because these two fragrances smell really similar. Of course, CH Privé is the one that's gotten the most hype over time, but these two fragrances, if you smell them side by side, you'll be able to tell right away that one took inspiration from the other. And CH Privé came first, so you know which one took the inspiration. They have leather, tonka, cardamom, and citrus between the two, so they share those. CH Privé, though, has a whiskey note, which the Cavalli fragrance does not. That being said, between the two scents, if I could pick just one for myself, I would rather wear Cavalli Uomo La Notte. I think overall it's just a little bit of a better fragrance. Both of these scents, very sexy. They're sweet, they're spicy, they have leather in there, but it's a really wearable leather, like I said, leaning more on the sweeter side with that. And then of course CH Privé, really well known for having a boozy note, which is the whiskey. Both of these fragrances fantastic for an evening out, both of them fantastic for a date as well. Like I said, between the two, I'd probably rather take the Cavalli, but both of them great fragrances. Next up, Eros Flame from the house of Versace. You could also put in Eros Eau de Parfum if you wanted to, but a lot of people out there think that Eros Flame is the most versatile in the Versace Eros line. You can wear it during the day, you can wear it during the evening, you can wear it on a night out, to a club, to a bar, or on a date. There's a lot of usability there. There's vanilla, there's tonka, there's quinoto, there's pepper, and mandarin orange in this fragrance. Not quite as heavily syrupy sweet as the original, and that's where that added versatility with Eros Flame comes in. It does have very good performance, so you get great longevity, great projection, and depending on where you're gonna wear this fragrance, you probably want to adjust your sprays up or down. So if it's in a more intimate situation, don't wear as many sprays. If it's somewhere where you want the fragrance to be really loud and get you a lot of attention and cut through a crowd, go heavy. The Eros line, really well known for being a compliment pulling line. Eros Flame, no different. Number 3 is just extremely obvious. It's the one Eau de Parfum from Dolce Gabbana. Everybody knows this, and lots of people own this one. If you want that DNA, the one DNA, but you want to switch things up a little bit, you could go with the one Royal Night. In the one Royal Night, there is sandalwood, nutmeg, and labdanum, which you're not going to find in the one Eau de Parfum. And then there's no tobacco and no ginger in the one Royal Night, which you will find in the one Eau de Parfum. So those are some of the differences between the two. Both of these fragrances, great date night scents. The one Royal Night, a lot of people would say is maybe a little more dressed up. It's a little bit more sophisticated, whereas the one Eau de Parfum is gonna be, for most people, a little more on the sexy side, a little more on the easy to wear side. Both fragrances though, big compliment pullers, big attention grabbers. The one Eau de Parfum, while not having great performance, has enough. So don't worry too much about that. And if you do worry about the performance, you could always, of course, spray more of it on. From there, let's go to Carolina Herrera 212 VIP for men. This one has good performance, so you don't have to worry about that with this one. This one has passion fruit, mint, spice, and a vodka note. Yeah, vodka, kind of maybe strange looking. You know, you may not think that you would like a vodka note in your fragrance, because vodka typically just smells like alcohol, but it doesn't come across like actual vodka, thankfully. This one's a big clubbing fragrance. Cuts through a crowd really well, grabs attention, and is a big compliment puller. Gets overlooked a little bit now. When it first came out, people wore it more, but over time, it's one of those fragrances that's kind of fallen by the wayside. People don't really reach for it so much anymore. Interestingly, this one gets compared to a Zara fragrance. Intense Dark Exclusive, I believe, is the one it gets compared to in the tobacco collection, interestingly enough. And that's a potential alternative to this one. For me though, I'd rather go with the Herrera. I think overall 212 VIP Men, a better fragrance, more going on, just yeah, better all the way around. Let's keep this list moving so it doesn't take forever. Up next, Bulgari Man in Black. Man in Black, the one that really helped kickstart the Bulgari Man line again. Spices, rum, leather, tobacco, and tonka. Some of the notes in this fragrance gets compared to Spice Bomb by Victor and Rolf. I've said that a lot on this channel. And there's that definite similarity. If you spray this one on, spray Spice Bomb next to it, give them a smell, it's gonna be like with CH Privé and La Note. Yeah, you tell right away. For a lot of people though, Man in Black actually is better. It's got a little booziness in there off the top, works really well. The fragrance typically is cheaper than Spice Bomb, so that's another plus. It's not quite as aggressive as Spice Bomb, for a lot of people, another plus. And overall, just comes together like it's a little more refined, like the slightly more refined, slightly older brother of Spice Bomb. It's a really nice scent and actually has a number of nice flankers that have come after it. Black Orient, for example, really nice. Man in Black Cologne, also pretty good. But the original Man in Black, fantastic fragrance for fall, also winter, and a surprisingly big compliment puller, which actually maybe is not really a big surprise when you think about it, because Spice Bomb, pretty big compliment puller, and with the similarities, you know. Up next, a fragrance from the house of John Varvatos, and we're gonna go with just John Varvatos. Normally, I would say Varvatos Vintage. That's my favorite, but in this video, just John Varvatos. It has leather, amber, tamarind, and dates as some of the notes in the fragrance. Yeah, dates, get it? Like you're going on a date. So those notes you don't see all that often, tamarind and dates. Gives a nice little bit of sweetness to the fragrance. You got leather in here, so you've got that little bit of sex appeal from that. The leather, of course, like most designer leathers, not dirty, not fecal, not animalic. You probably wouldn't want those descriptors in your fragrance if you're trying to get one that's for compliments. And the amber, of course, adding a little warmth and sweetness as the fragrance dries down. Really, really solid scent. Like most John Varvatos fragrances, the quality is higher than you would expect versus the price, because it's not all that expensive. Performance is middling, but like I've talked about a couple times, you can spray it heavier if you want. Let's keep it going with the Ferragamo Uomo. You could also go with Uomo Signature. That one also very nice. But as far as just mass appeal for fall and winter time, like the most mass appeal possible, I think the original Uomo is a safer bet than Signature. Though for me personally, I like Signature a little more. Tiramisu, Tonka, Ambroxan, Cardamom, some of the notes in the fragrance. So the tiramisu is going to give you a sort of coffee vibe, but a sweeter take. So you could think of it almost as just a sweet coffee note in this fragrance. Then the Tonka and the Ambroxan sort of bolster that tiramisu, especially as the fragrance dries down, and the cardamom gives you a very familiar, sweet, spicy sexiness in the scent. Really easy to wear, great during the evening, great on a date, great on a night out, and also versatile enough that you can pull it off during the day. And to top it all off, pretty affordable. Now let's go to one of my favorite releases from the last few years designer-wise, Code Absolute from Giorgio Armani. Really, really, really like this one. It's got that Code Profumo DNA, or Code Ultimate DNA, even going back a little bit further. You can smell both of those fragrances in Code Absolute, but Code Absolute is a little more refined, a little more smooth, a little less aggressive. It has tonka, vanilla, suede, nutmeg, mandarin orange in there. Really, really nice. It's got this sparkle, this effervescence off the top. As it dries down, maintains this sexy sweetness. Like I said, it's almost as if you took Code Profumo and made it grow up a little bit. Not that there's anything wrong with Code Profumo, and that one will also pull a lot of attention and pull a lot of compliments. And if you're after just a fragrance that's going to be out there and loud and cut through the crowd very easily, Code Profumo may be the better choice for you than Code Absolute. But if you want something that has good performance, but feels a little bit better put together, at least for me, I'd go for Absolute over Profumo. Okay, next fragrance is from the house of Dior. It is Sauvage Parfum. I was not the biggest fan of Sauvage Parfum when it was released. The pricing had a lot to do with that. 100 mils of Sauvage Parfum starts to put you into niche territory in terms of the cost. It's not cheap. We can say that much pretty safely. This one has sandalwood, olibanum, bergamot, tonka, and mandarin as some of the notes in the fragrance. It is not a big ambroxan bomb like you'll find in the Eau de Toilette, and also to an extent in the Eau de Parfum. This one is more grown up, and I don't mean that in the sense that it smells like an old man fragrance or anything like that. No offense to you older gentlemen out there, shout out to you. But this one definitely smells more mature than the Eau de Toilette or the Eau de Parfum. It is a little bit darker. It has sort of an incensey vibe to it, so it's got a little bit of smokiness to it, and people love it. Absolutely love it. For me, it's better suited for fall and winter as opposed to the Eau de Toilette or the Eau de Parfum are. Basically, each iteration of Sauvage gets a little bit darker, a little bit smoother, a little bit more mature. So the Eau de Toilette is the more youthful one, and then the Eau de Parfum is in the middle, and the Parfum is your more gentlemanly version of Sauvage. But like all Sauvages, people love it. Absolutely love it. Big attention grabber, big compliment puller, Sauvage Parfum. If you can part with the money, really solid for fall. You could though go with the Eau de Parfum and save a little bit of money, and you're gonna get similar feedback from that one as the Parfum version, at least from your casual everyday person. And the last one is from the house of Ralph Lauren. It is Polo Red Intense. Now I'm gonna be straightforward with you guys. The Polo line is not the most solid designer line out there. A lot of them are really forgettable. They're not that great, a lot of Polo flankers. And for the price, even at discounters, I would say 90% or more of them are a pass. A pretty hard pass, actually. Polo Red Intense and Polo Red Extreme, though, both I think are pretty good, and in general are big compliment pullers. So if that's important to you, you should check them out and see how they work for you, because in general, people love them. And I myself like these two fragrances much more than anything that I've smelled in the Blue line or any of the other random throwaway fragrances that they seem to do. Not that all Ralph Lauren fragrances are throwaway fragrances, but if you think none of them are, you're lying to yourself. This one has amber, grapefruit, leather ginger, and coffee and cranberry. Those are gonna be the two main notes here, the coffee and the cranberry. They work together really well here. And that's actually, for me, the thing that makes this fragrance is the cranberry. Really nice, tart, fruity sweetness off the top. Melts together, like I said, very well with the coffee, and as it dries down, it still retains a really pleasant, people-pleasing nature. I kind of alluded to this before, but some Ralph Lauren fragrances, actually most of them, are fairly expensive still at discounters compared to some of the contemporaries that they would be going up against. But this one I think is worth checking out, and you can very often find this in stores to sample. So maybe you might be a little unsure on the Ralph Lauren fragrances or the Polo fragrances, but if you see this one in a store, check it out, you might be surprised. And like all the other fragrances in this list, ladies seem to love it. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all of your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.